me, fellas! This ain't my first time at the rodeo.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is the Lone Wolf Show. I'm the Lone Wolf.
And I'm Munistera.
And we have an International Pagan Music Associated artist who's recently been nominated for Best Male Artist of the Year, David Wood, everybody.
Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Great. It's glad to see you.
Glad
and
to see you.
congratulations on your win.
So how'd you feel?
Or not win, but a nomination.
Well, he did win.
He did.
I think the first year of the IPMA he won. Is that true?
I did. Yes, it was an honor.
So how did you feel the first year when you were nominated compared to this time that when you were nominated?
It's about the same. It's an honor, and I can't believe I've been nominated again, but there it is. It was surprising. It was very fun because I'd always wanted to go win a Grammy or something like that. And there's a story about my mother. I swore I would buy her the nicest dress, and she couldn't come with me to the first one when I won. So, oh well, I still dedicated it to her. You know?
Are you going to come to the awards ceremony this year and bring your mother?
Well, I doubt that she would be able to go, but my partner and I may very well come. It depends on my schedule and how things are going. You know, the sooner I know, the better it is, you know, whenever they have it. So,
yeah.
Can you tell us about the IPMA awards the first year, where it was, and how that played out?
Oh Lord, I'm trying to remember. I think it was in St. Louis, Missouri. If I'm not mistaken, I remember going through it and seeing the big arch. And I had a different partner at that time that went with me, but you know, I'm David Woods. Joke. It's a joke. But anyway, it was fun. It was great. I got to see a lot of people that performed that I hadn't got the chance to meet ever, and got to see them. And then I think I got to see them again a few years later. So it was really fun for me. It was good. I liked it. I was pleasantly surprised at the sound and how well everything was set up. So it's very professional.
So how long have you been doing your music? And if anyone hasn't seen your stuff, can explain what type of music you do?
I do pagan pop dance, and I do mainstream pop dance also Monday. And I had been trying to get a record contract. Oh, I want to say I started back in 87, and then I left when I was 18. It may have been 89, something like that, 1990, and started traveling other places to find people who could help me. And I just started from there, and it was a wild club tour ride for years. And I was doing good. And then, you know, after a while, you just don't make it. You have to settle down and get a full-time job. So that's what happened. So it gets a little dirtier than that as far as the mainstream music business. But I think there were no other pop dance artists when I started in pagan music. And I still see today people who don't realize there's pagan music out there. And I think we need to get the word out. I know I've tried to do it for other people, and just, you know, let's promote pagan music, definitely, because there are so many different styles out there that you wouldn't believe. I mean, there's Harold Carter, Lone Wolf, and so many different people. It's unimaginable, and I'm just happy to be a part of that. I happen to be pagan, and I happen to be a musician, so everything I love just merged together into one.
Now tell us a little bit more about your path. If you have a tradition, what type of pagan are you? How did you find that path?
I was a solitary since 1987, and it's making me sound old. And I eventually joined Silver Ravenwolf's Black Forest clan. And that was in 1997, about 10 years later. I met Silver, and I just felt so close to her. And it's like coming to your own family. And she is the international clan head of the Black Forest Clan, my clan head, and I am a clan head as well, over numerous people, different covens, and taking a break from that right now as well. But I'm coming back in October, so with my students. So,
Well, I know you're played on IPR, International Pagan Radio. You're played over there on the Cauldron.
mm-hmm.
We play you on Fringe TV, 3 videos. We play the Spooky song. We play King Bitch. And you also sent me a newer song that was a live take from one of the Pagan Prides.
Yes.
Your videos are really well put together, especially, I think is the spooky song and video compared to the King Bitch song and video. What year were those put together? Because those have been around a little while and they're really put together.
King Bitch was 2018. I think the song had already come out, but the video is what really pushed that. Spooky was the Halloween prior. I think that was 2016, quite possibly. And Put the Bottle Down, that was my very first music video. A lot of people don't know that I play all my music by hand in the studio. Synthesizers, drum machines. I do my own backup tracks for backup vocals. And I'm a one-man cameraman too. I just move the camera around and then go edit it later after it's recorded. So I'm a one-man record company, if you will. That's why it takes so long for me to put stuff out.
So all those videos were created by you solely?
By me. Yeah. I come up with the concepts and stuff like that. So.
And what about new music? Have you been writing any new music, getting anything together? I know there's a lot of people within the pagan community that are real eager to hear some newer David Wood pop off.
Oh, that's a great thing to hear. You know how you get to feeling like, well, you're not all that or what have you. And I think everybody goes through it. And, but I'm glad to hear that. And I am starting, I just got myself some new equipment, and I always have to do something new, maybe a little bit better or a little bit different than I've done it before. And it's been a while because I had a job that was really taking all my day and night, and it was hard to deal with. And I'm moving on from that and looking for something new. And the stress that has been taken away from me has been amazing. I feel like I'm starting to live again. And therefore, when you do that, you start getting more creative and writing more music. So I'm starting to work on it. It will be soon.
Well, let me tell you, if you don't know this, you are all that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So according to the International Pagan Music Association, we're in our 7th year. And upon the inception of the IPMA, there was David Wood. Who else won best female, best band for the first year?
Best female. Oh my goodness. It is, you know what? It is losing.
Go back.
I'm losing it right now. It is. Oh, I love her. She's red-haired. She's excellent, and I've always loved her. And I heard her music before I met her. Please forgive me. I forget.
If I said it, would you know it?
Yes.
Is it Rowena of the Glen?
Yes, it is Rowena of the Glen. And Rowena, I am so sorry.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know either. You said red hair, and I was like, it must be Rowena of the Glen.
Yes, it is Rowena of the Glen, and she is amazing. I mean, if you've ever heard her live or any of her recordings, she's an amazing artist. So.
It's definitely amazing that that IPMA's been around 7 years, and we have to really think about who was winning at certain times. I mean, it's iconic. I mean, when you think about it, being a first year musician and this is an association that's been around 7 years, you really put upon the footprints the foundation of what that association really is. I also saw you on the cover of the Witch's Brew magazine a couple of years back.
Mm-hmm. I've been on a little bit of everything. It's hard to think about it all, really, because it's like even before the IPMAs or pagan radio I knew existed or what have you. I was appearing on a lot of stuff, but I just couldn't get a record deal.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? With pagan music, you don't need a record deal, and
Mm-hmm.
you're probably making more money if you don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
But I love doing what I do. It's amazing. And I take it serious because I'm a very creative person, but I'm not that super competitive. There's room for everybody, especially in pagan music. And I just love meeting as many artists as I can. And I've done a lot of shows with a lot of pagan artists. And you don't get that crazy, competitive, snooty type thing that you would get in the mundane music world. Everybody has been so nice to me, and vice versa. I think I don't have any hard feelings toward anybody, but I have had wonderful experiences with people who will let me piggyback off their equipment or what have you. And I love everything I've done and everything I'll continue to do. I'm not ready to stop yet. So.
Good to hear that. How has the IPMA helped you as an artist?
There's a few shows that came into, manifestation due to them. And it helped due to the promotion of it and the magazines and, the Witch's Brew and different little magazine articles. And I'm one of those that does not hide who I am. I am a pagan recording artist, whether I'm mundane or whether I'm in the pagan world. There's not a lot that I hide about myself because I'm not ashamed of myself. I'm very proud to do what I do, and I love working with other artists. So,
So spiritually, you started your pagan path in 1987.
I started solitary. Yes, I did.
Solitaire in 87. In 97, you got with the Black Forest Clan.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So since 1987, is there a difference in what paganism was then to what paganism in witchcraft is now?
There's a difference in what, quote, Wicca was as compared to witchcraft back then. Today, there's sort of two separate things that have evolved, but back in the day, it was all the same thing. Because in all honesty, Gerald Gardner, if we want to bring up a name,
Sure,
he, excuse me, Gerald Gardner, he only mentioned Wicca, the word Wicca, once or twice in his books.
Mm-hmm.
And then people just sort of grabbed it and took off with it because I think it was a safer word to use in public instead of witch. And the thing is, witches were trying to take their name back then. It was all sort of one thing in witchcraft per se. I won't talk about paganism because paganism is made up of many different religions, not just Wicca or witchcraft or what have you. But it does get a little bit to me when people keep saying they're different or what have you. Wicca is just another name for witchcraft that happened to be used once. And it just turned into this whole big religion itself. And they try to say that magic and craft type things are different and Wicca is the religion. Somebody must be casting a spell on me. I apologize.
So in 87 or back in the day, when you said Wicca and witchcraft, it was the same thing. It was interchangeable.
It was, and a lot of people need to do. I feel today that anybody who it's a lifestyle, they turn it more into how would you say it, a look or they'll make it into this trendy thing, but they're really not practicing. They're not reading, and they're not getting their hands dirty. They'll say, I'm a witch or I'm Wiccan. And I'll be like, well, what have you done recently to build on yourself or to help yourself along and things like that? Because I'm a clan head, I'm a facilitator, high priest, what have you. And it is my job to talk to people. It's not for me to designate this is right, this is wrong for you, this is whatever. I'm part of Black Forest. So if I'm talking to someone in Black Forest, I'm like, you better be reading a little more as to what some of the past things are, not current. But go look up the past and then start reading into what you're doing now.
Excuse me, real quick.
Hmm? Excuse me a second. I hope you cut this out.
Yep. No, we can edit this.
Yeah, we'll edit that right out.
Cool.
That was Earl Williams from Iowa. Horrible time to call. I should have shut this phone off. Okay.
We'll have to call you back, Earl.
We have to hang up on
Yeah.
accident. Okay, let me try to get back on cue here. Right, so congratulations on your IPMA nomination and everything, Mr. Wood. So when you were nominated for, in 2023, do you get were you nominated last year for 2022 as well?
I think it was 2021 that I was nominated again.
Right.
If I remember correctly, yeah.
So when you got nominated, and because the first year, you won, you took home the the crystal and everything. Mm-hmm. Do you get do memories surface hey, I'm nominated again, this again, does it come back okay, so now it's time to certain things kind of trigger you, do you get flashbacks from the first year?
Flashbacks. I wouldn't say as much flashbacks as just nice memories.
Right. Yeah.
Well, if I have a double set, that'd be great. That'd be kind of cool.
I know that there's a couple artists that have won twice. I think Abigail Spinner McBride won twice for Best Female.
Brian Hinkey.
Brian Hinkey won twice. Mm-hmm. I believe.
Oh, I know Brian pretty well. He's a great guy.
You do? Yeah, he is a good guy. Uh-huh. Yeah. And that goes to my next question I was going to ask you is when that first year, when you went to the award ceremony, did you meet any pagan musicians that you hadn't met at that point and you were starstruck? Did you get starstruck at all when you met other musicians?
Rowena.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's cool.
Because like I said, I had heard her music before, mm-hmm. and you know how you sort of put your head into that space where this person's untouchable. I don't know if anybody ever does that with me. I don't think so, but you just sort of have, you love this song or that song, and be like, wow, it'd be so great to meet her. And I did. And, I got a t-shirt of hers and did the fanboy thing, and we ended up winning, and we're side by side. And I was like, that sort of took me back a little bit. It's like, hey, I'm standing here with Rowena.
So you shared the stage with her for the award ceremony? Yes.
And then we took pictures together, and there were all kinds of pictures, and I still have those today. I look back on them sometimes and went, wow, I did all that. And my big year was 2017, 2018. I went to New York City. I did a lot of stuff that I hadn't, I had been there before trying to get locked into a record deal and stuff, and it just didn't happen. But to be able to play there and to, do different things was amazing. I really enjoyed it. It was massive.
So do you have plans for doing festivals this year? Because I think 2023 is going to be your biggest year.
You think? Okay, well let's make sure that happens. Right now I am booked for Dayton. I am booked again for Pittsburgh Witches Ball, I do believe. And there's one more, and I can't think of it. I'll have to get my calendar out. But I think I've got 2 or 3 lined up right now. but I've not put any new material out either. So I think when people hear that, I'll be sought after a little bit.
When is the new stuff coming out? And are you planning on doing more music videos, since there's a couple television networks out there that support the pagan community?
I will be, yes, but I've not really started yet. I did get together with Cloud, the pagan rapper, who is also great. I like him.
Word.
And he contacted me with a song and some music, and he said, hey, would you like to do this as a duet or a partner song type thing? And if so, what do you think we could do? And I did work on a chorus for it and added different things in and let him see what I thought. And we're doing it. It's just like I said, with my job that I had for a while, the day job, it got in the way of everything. You know, it's eat, sleep, and wake up and do it all again. You know, so I sort of got that out of my life, feel a lot better. And so I'm right now starting, you know, I have new equipment that I'm planning on using, synthesizer type things, and new recording as far as vocal recording, some stuff. And I'll be doing it more sooner than later.
And you mentioned that you had gotten some new equipment to record, and you also mentioned that back in the day you were kind of aspiring to get a record deal.
Mm-hmm.
I had interviewed with Dave the Bard across the pond, and we kind of had the same conversation. And what he told me was that we don't need record labels anymore. You know, the same way like with books, you know, people are self-publishing, and I think that carries over to music too.
It does. King Bitch is the biggest hit I've ever had in my life. Before that, it was Hecate. At the time I wrote it, just a simple little tune. And it seems like the goofiest stuff that I put out there just for a laugh ends up going big. I'm like, wow, because my videos for that has about 4,000 to 5,000 hits on it from YouTube. And I'm like, okay, you know, now I'm getting older. I can't take my clothes off half as much. So, yeah, things will be different. There will never be another King Bitch out there. So, you know, it'll be a different type of song altogether. I don't try to redo myself at any time just to make a hit.
So prior to the IPMA, the first year in the pagan community, what was it like for musicians, pagan musicians? Because I assume that before IPMA, you were creating pagan music or listening to pagan music at that point.
A lot of people, yeah, I'm sorry. A lot of
ahead.
people at that time didn't know that there was pagan music.
So it must have been like wicked harder to, you know, because there weren't really platforms out there. You didn't have pagan television and you didn't have the, you know, the Cauldron Radio and IPR. You didn't have any of that stuff. So it must have been a hell of a lot, you know, more difficult to get your music out there.
Yes, it took a lot of work, a lot of hard work, which I'm not afraid of. But it's amazing what is starting to take place, and I'm glad to see it. You know, I started working in that area with the Cauldron and the IPMAs when I first came out and stuff. And then it was just like with the job and things, I had to just backtrack a lot, you know, and then things started going places without me, without my direction or without my, you know, a lot of people, a lot of friends and stuff try to call me the Madonna, the male Madonna of paganism. And I'm like, no, not at all. I mean, I'm driven and ambitious, but pagan music is not like that. You know, it's the most enjoyable experience I ever had, besides, you know, after I left the mainstream, trying to find mainstream work. And but I'll still do it all. I'm not done yet.
Hey, you heard it right here on the Lone Wolf Show. David Wood said he is not done yet. That's good to hear.
I am not done yet, no.
I love it.
That's iconic right there. So do you remember your first festival that you ever attended?
Woo.
And was that as a solitaire? Was that before Black Forest and everything? Like you actually going to a pagan festival?
Black Forest, you have to understand, is something that happened to me that changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up a lot. I feel like I grew up in Black Forest. And of course, I was very young at that time, mid-20s, I think. And a lot of stuff was happening in unison. The spirituality, the spirituality's still there. It's made me what I am today. I'm a better person today. And so Black Forest was 97, and I went through my third degree, and then Lady Silver made me a clan head over different covens. And each phase of my life has been another growth, whether it be music, whether it be spirituality, or what have you. And a lot of it is learning through major lessons in recovery. So, I've done some horrible things in my life to myself that do not exist much anymore. So I am proud of that. It took a lot of work. Everything you do, I mean, even if you're having fun, it's a lot of work. And I'm just proud to be here. I'm proud to be pagan. I'm proud to be a witch. I'm proud to be a Black Forest witch and clan head. And I'm honored to be on your show and to be nominated again.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah, you're nominated. I hope you come out to the IPMA Awards, man. That would be cool.
It'd be great.
I think that you should come back and reclaim that throne for 2023, man.
You know what I think?
What?
I think David Wood and Lone Wolf should do a song together.
Oh yeah, I think they.
I'm open.
That would be huge. That would be huge.
You both have the most
once.
beautiful power voice, and I think it would go great.
Yeah, it would definitely be huge. I mean, Mr. Wood, you have a large following on the radio stations, and I see that from because I know IPR comes out with the 20 hottest hits every month, and this is clockwork, January through December, and your name is constantly on that list. Even from a few years back, even though you haven't been putting new music out, people still follow your music. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's really exciting. I think it would be quite easy for you to come out with a song and just hit that number one probably multitude of months, man. I encourage it.
I plan on it. There's times when I look over at my partner just watching a movie or something and happen to be looking at my phone and I'm like, wow. I'm not dead yet.
So here's my next question. What about the most crazed fan of David Wood? Have you ever had anybody contact you and they wouldn't leave you alone? They text you, message you all the time, and kind of like, and you just kind of have to be like, hey, look, man.
I've had stalkers, yes.
I don't know if that's okay to talk about on the Lone Wolf Show. We never talked about that on the Lone Wolf Show.
Yeah, two people who followed me to a show that I was doing in West Virginia.
Wow.
And another one would not leave me alone on the phone until I had to get mean. I don't like to get mean. It's not a part of who I am. It's not a part of who I want to be. I know having a song like King Bitch, people say, oh, David, come on. But if you listen to the words to that song, being mean is not what that song is about. It's about taking control and living your life to the fullest. It's like, I'm not going to put up with crap like most people don't. And, but yeah, I did have a couple of stalkers. One was dangerous and one was annoying, but I took care of it.
So I did ask you about if you remembered your first festival, and you told us some other great stuff, but we didn't really touch upon if you remember that first festival. Can you tell me about the first? Do you remember it?
It was a little festival. It was a small 1 weekend day event. It wasn't a whole weekend,
right?
But I was singing out in a park in an area, and people, I think they were blown away by me, and I was blown away by them equally. So we had a good time together. And people who like to dance and clap their hands and have fun, I love it. So, but you will have to forgive me because I have done a lot, and sometimes you forget until you're reminded, pictures or something, whatever.
Right.
Dug up a big box full of pictures the other day from way back when, San Francisco. I think I remember more of going to San Francisco and different things like that, and just all the clubs I've been to. Of course, there's a lot of things that would keep me from remembering a lot of those too, but a lot of those were really fun. I remember I was there and had given one of my CDs to a DJ. And he actually came back and said, "This is good. Will you go out on stage tonight?" And I said, "I don't have backup tracks. Like, I can't carry your synthesizers and drum machines everywhere." But he said, "No, just go out there and go along to your CD." This one song, I think it was "Slave to the Rhythm" is what it was called. And I said, "Sure." So I was behind this little curtain area to the dance club. And there's two different sections of it. And I walked in, and it was just a bar area. And then you could hear the boom, boom, boom getting louder and louder. So he said, "Stand behind this curtain and we'll call you out." And they did. And I heard my song start. And when I stepped out, it was this little catwalk runway that went right out into the crowd. So I did that, and I just happened to look up, and there were like 3 levels. And people were grabbing my pant legs. They didn't even know who I was, but they were doing it and having a great time. So that particular thing was one of the first that happened to me, and I had a good time there.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. I forget the name of the club, but there were 2 halves.
So you sent one of your music videos to Fringe TV, and it's a live cut of you performing at one of the pagan prides. And
yes, it was a Rainbow Pride. It was a gay pride in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
You're right, but there's pagans everywhere, so the whole world's pagan.
I wish.
Don't you?
We'd be better off.
Life would be easier.
Sure would. So do you remember when pagan pride? Because it seems like every state has a pagan pride.
Yes.
Somewhere, and I think some states even have like 2, and like they compete with each other or some junk like that. But when did pagan pride start? Do you know like the history of that? You know, because you've been around a while. You know.
I want to say the 90s. It became more prevalent. You know, like I said, it was 87. It was the end of the 80s when I started learning about the craft. And so I went and started digging these things out. So for me, it was the early 90s going forward.
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, don't recognize that with you, Mr. Wood, is that you're a pagan musician, but you're also a 3rd degree priest, and you have, you know, your clan and everything. And a lot of people don't really acknowledge that. They just look at you as the musician, not as the priest and all that thing.
They tend to look at me more as a singer, which I'm not. I tend to play all the music as well, and they don't understand that either. But that's fun. As long as they're having fun and having a good time, I'm happy.
So how long have you been performing? Did you perform before even paganism? Did you perform in your youth?
Yes. Yes. I would always... My parents would have company over, and I'd get on the coffee table and be like, "Listen to this." And I any little thing I could try to figure out in Kentucky at that time, I would do. So nothing really happened huge until I left Kentucky, though. So it was about when I was 18.
What, you left Kentucky when you're 18?
Yes.
And where'd you move after that?
Columbus, Ohio. That's where I'm at now. I figured Columbus, Ohio was the middle, you know, and I could go anywhere from there. And I did. I also went to the recording workshop, which is a learning recording engineering, recording, mixing consoles. I mean, you name it, doing sound engineering. I learned all that and went and did that as well. And I thought, well, if I can get into places by doing this, then I will meet people where I can give my CDs to them and things like that. So I had all kinds of little conspiracies in my head, if you will. So, yeah, and I stopped doing that for a while. So a lot of the engineering tools and the recording studio tools that are out there now, I'm unfamiliar with. I mean, I'm sure they all work the same to a certain degree, but as far as the new stuff, I'm not aware of any longer. So
So how many albums or songs do you have out?
I did do a CD for Lady Breed one. She was one of my girls I raised up to a third degree high priestess as well. I did one for her, writing the music. It's a meditation CD for witches. And of mine, I've got 7.
Wow.
7 to 8. Ooh, I may have missed one. Coronation is the last one, and that's the one that King Bitch is on, and that's the most popular song I have. People who come up at a show or whatever will be like, which CD's this one on? Or that one. And it's usually Coronation. It sells out. So
how many music videos do you have that the songs are in music video form?
I know of 3.
3. Yeah, he's right.
Is there
Cool.
plans to get more, even music videos of your older stuff?
I would have to do them. I would have to film them, but no, there are old video cassettes, VHS, of where I was performing live in a lot of these clubs and stuff, but you can barely see them. They are so old that they're all fuzzy now and not to the quality that we're all used to. But I've been thinking about trying to find a way to transfer those as well and just be like, hey, I thought about writing my story, writing a book about some of the stuff I went through and, how my craft helped me along. And some of it's not so good. Some of it's funny. If I wrote a book, it would definitely be more funny than very serious, but it would have some serious things in there as well.
Now, does that cross over to a lot of your students that you're raising up in the craft? Do you put a lot of humor into your teachings?
Well, I do. I'm not a very, very serious person, but there are, within a tradition, it can be stuffy. And some people don't want that in their craft, but there are ways, there's hierarchy or hierarchy, however you want to pronounce it. But I'm still a Kentucky guy, and some of it is stuffy. It's hard work. And the thing is that no student is expected to ever have to do anything that I haven't done or that we haven't done or what have you. It's all the same. But things do change. And there's people who are meant for a tradition and people who aren't. And that's totally okay. Doesn't mean you're right or wrong. It's just I'd like to see a lot of the new Wiccans that are out there learn a little bit more from their past and read a little more in depth than they do. A lot of people just want to play.
No, I've researched that the Black Forest Coven has, the clan, excuse me, that it has, the tradition came from something called powwow. Is that factual, with the kind of like the Germans that came over to the Pennsylvania, the Dutch, or something to that effect?
Correct. Powwow is not a Native American thing. There's some that has a little dabbling in it and stuff, but it basically, our branch of powwow, Pennsylvania folk magic, came from Preston Zerb, or Zerby, however you want to pronounce it. And he trained Silver and she trained us. And that is a part of the healing that we are a big part of and try to preserve is Pennsylvania Dutch powwow. And we have Germanic, basic, not basic, but witchcraft, the way most people would see witches outside of the powwow community or what have you. But I can tell you that a lot of people who are powwow artists are very edgy around the witchcraft term
Mhm.
or even Wicca term, because it's like they don't see themselves that way. But it's a healing technique that we as Black Forest members, we practice.
So it doesn't have any lineage with Gardner.
That does not the powwow. No, sir. But with Gardner, it is it was a chain that went on down to Silver.
Mhm.
There was Gardner, and there was Buckland, and oh my goodness, she will kill me. She will cut my throat. Granny Bree Fox song. It's I before E, not breed, but Bree. And on down to Silver, and that all came to us.
Who's your patron deities?
Morrigan and Kiernunos.
Cool. So
I totally got rid of all my others, that I had before Black Forest, because there's Hecate. So Hecate, Pan, your basic Greek. I think we all started learning deities through the Greek. I'm not sure. But now it's Celtic, Germanic, Pennsylvania Dutch, and we main two are the Morrigan and Kiernunos. Yes.
So do you have any advice for any of the newer pagan musicians that are coming up?
Work. Be prepared to work. And you don't just stand out there and play. You've got to market yourself. You have to think of the most affordable way you can get pictures done. Make them yourself. I did it myself most of the time. And just find a way to make it look as professional and well polished as you can. Because since MTV and all that, people want to look at you first. They will look at you before they'll do anything else. So put on a good show. It's all a performance.
Yep. We don't need MTV. We got Fringe TV.
We got Fringe TV. That we do.
So, and within the same framework of the question, do you have any advice for the newer seekers, witches, Wiccans that are coming up nowadays?
Study outside of the new books that are out there. Go back and look at past publications. Do your research and read up on it, but don't just read. Get your hands dirty and practice. I mean, you learn by failure. Just like being a pagan musician. If you fail at something, figure out what you did wrong and do another thing to make it work.
Anything to say to your fans?
I love you. Every single one of you. And thank you so much for staying with me throughout the years.
Well, we look forward to seeing some new songs from you and new stuff from you.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. David Wood on the Lone Wolf Show.
Thank
International Pagan Music Associated, nominated Best Male Artist of the Year.
Thank you.
Don't fuck with me, fellas! This ain't my first time at the rodeo.
This bitch don't do pagan standard time, but I'll make time if you're worth it. I don't know who you take me for when I say what bitch working. You got to stand in line, because I ain't got time to wait. When you're the cream of the crop, you gotta rise to the top. I always have something to say. I always get my way. You know that I know that I'm king, bitch. enough to know bullshit when they talk. You know you can't play a player. This bitch ain't free, and I can't hate a hater. It's just that they're not me. I always have something to say. I always get my way. You know that I know that I'm king, bitch. I'm on top. Guess what? You're not. I don't know what to tell you. I got thinking things and talking to you. I'm king, bitch. I'm on top. Guess what? I don't stop. I don't know what to tell you. You can be like me if you work hard too. I'm king, bitch. Don't have time for love. I don't have time. Don't have time for love. I don't have time. But you can touch me there. Yes, you can touch me there.